Inspiration delivered. Can you feel it? This is insane. Absolutely insane. Good morning. My name's Dave Rhodes. I run our digital twins business at Unity, and I am here to talk to you this morning. Good morning, John. Here to talk to you this morning about how immersive real-time 3D technology is transforming our way of life and our digital experiences. So, innovation is amazing, and I'm going to start by quoting Alan Kay. Now, raise your hand if you know who Alan Kay is. Very few people overall, but most of you are from my generation. Alan Kay is a world-renowned computer scientist. Many of his claim to fame include developing the first object-oriented programming language. He built the basic architecture and GUI for what is today the Windows platform and how we interface with our Apple devices. And of course, you see him holding the Dynabook there, which was really the first incarnation of a computing device for children. And Alan's quote, he had a lot of great quotes, go look him up, but one of his best quotes was, "The best way to predict the future is to invent it." And I think about all the people in this room. We're going to take 2 to 3 days to get inspired, to learn from each other around what the future looks like. But the reality is, look inwards. Look at yourselves. Look at what you're doing to bring the future forward to now. And that's what I'll suggest we're doing. Whoops. So I'm going to start with the M word, metaverse. Overloaded term. A lot of focus on it, particularly through COVID and over the last 2 years. Meta alone not only changed its name, but invested $10 billion in hardware, software, a social graph to make immersive experiences that in the past were just done in Facebook, bring them to life. Disney, Microsoft, you can see Unity, we're quoted up there, my boss is quoted up there. There are a lot of us that are focused on the metaverse, and there are all kinds of prognostications and predictions on what it will be, and we're probably all wrong. We're probably all partially wrong. I think about the internet and the fact that when I was a programmer in college, I was working on what was called ARPANET, which was a predecessor. I never imagined that the internet would become the digital fabric for how we communicate in this world. And so I don't think we can fully predict what the metaverse will manifest itself into, but what I would suggest is that it's simply an evolution of our digital experience today. The metaverse runs in real time. That means 60 to 120 frames a second, faster than we can think. The metaverse is mostly 3D, not always, but it's mostly 3D, and more and more and more, you will see 3D becoming less cartoony and more hyper-realistic. The metaverse is mostly interactive. If we're receiving transmission of pixels at 60 plus frames a second, we're thinking and interacting in precisely the same speed. It's mostly social. This morning, I was Christmas shopping on a web page. Just me. I would have loved to bring 2, 3, or 4 of my friends together in real time to look at the same Christmas gift and decide, is this appropriate? Will this fit? Is the color right? Etc. And finally, persistence. I think of this persistence as personalization. The metaverse and the digital experiences that make it up are following you and meeting you where you are across multiple digital properties. Okay? So it's pretty simple. Now, up to this point, and particularly outside this room, the broader media has covered the metaverse with a focus on consumer-oriented, entertainment-oriented use cases. Fortnite, huge game. Roblox, huge gaming community. Brands are leveraging those communities to start to position their capabilities, their products, their catalogs. Live entertainment. Unity powers for Live Nation a series of virtual or hybrid concerts and raves on a platform. I'm going to spend most of my time this morning, or what's left of it, talking about industrial use cases, manufacturing, municipal government, construction, healthcare, education, even financial services, how they're taking this basic capability that powers the metaverse, 3D, immersion, social graphs, etc., to drive business outcomes and competitive advantage for their businesses or their operations. This whole umbrella falls under what we at Unity call real-time 3D. Real-time 3D. Simple phrase, captures all the things that ultimately are powering the metaverse. One slide about us, so you understand our perspective. We're the world's leader in real-time 3D. We power close to 60% of all the mobile, console, and PC video game content in the world. We power over 70% of the AR, VR, and mixed reality content in the world. It's either developed or runs on our platform. And as a result, we operate at massive, massive scale. 4 billion unique Unity runtimes downloaded per month. Do the math. What is that? 50 billion. 50 billion runtimes all around the world running on endpoints per year. And so we have a pretty good glimpse into how this metaverse, this future of digital interaction, is evolving. Now, I'm going to shift gears. I said I'm going to talk mostly about industrial use cases this morning. I'm going to start with another overloaded term, the business that I run, by the way, digital twins. Now, I start there because I want to define for you what a real-time 3D digital twin is. It's a digital replica, a virtual copy of a physical asset at any scale, process, or system. And that digital copy behaves identically. It looks, it behaves, it responds, it reacts, it runs exactly like its physical counterpart. And this is fundamental for these transformations that these industries are making. They build digital twins either before a physical asset is created or after a physical asset is created, and they're operating at scale to drive different outcomes. Now, there's not a week that goes by, particularly in the last year, where I'm either exiting a stage or I'm in a boardroom or I'm having a meeting with a strategic client or partner, and there's anxiety. I got to get into the metaverse. I have FOMO. I got to build a digital twin of my asset or my catalog. Where the heck do I start? And I say, calm down. And the reason I'm calm is because what we've done is we've built a maturity model that enables people to do two things. The first thing we enable clients to do is better define the outcomes that they're trying to achieve by investing in new technology. You need to be in the metaverse? Why? You need a digital twin? Why? Let's get down into what you're actually trying to accomplish. So critical. Like, you know, forget about Alan Kay for a minute. How many of you have seen massive, massive IT projects or technology investments result in nothing? Okay, yeah, there you go. More hands this time, right? So start with the end in mind. The second thing that it allows us to do then at Unity and with some of our strategic partners is assess the readiness of a client to actually exploit some of this capability and technology. So I'm going to, excuse me, in the 6 minutes that I have left, I'm going to use this framework to walk you through some very specific customer examples. So the first type of digital twin is a virtual twin. It's very simple. You get your 3D data together, you get your metadata together, and you create simple, immersive, but lifelike visualization. It's just interactive, real-time visualization. And in this particular case, the Vancouver Airport Authority built a digital twin at first to help passenger congestion in terminals, create a better experience, make sure people got to the gate on time. Now, this fully functional, at-scale digital twin, yes, the airplanes behave properly, the suitcases, the conveyor belts behave in real time, etc. This digital twin now, 18 months later, has been deployed or is intended to be deployed on over 30 different use cases. One investment in a digital twin now creates a more efficient, a more effective, a safer, and a more sustainable piece of physical infrastructure. Second example, in the energy space, connected twins are simply a virtual twin that is then connected to real-time, right-time sensor information. In this particular case, the Schlumberger operation and maintenance people are able to very quickly take real information from what's going on in the physical assets in real time, visualize it interactively in a way where they can make the right operation and maintenance decisions without having to drive out into the middle of nowhere in a physical truck to simply read a meter. Here's another example from the energy space. This one, clean energy. This is an example of design and engineering of a wind farm. The team that was working on this used a predictive twin, in other words, forward-looking time slice simulation to evaluate what size should the blades be, where is the optimal placement of the turbines across a massive land mass. And by doing that, before they ever committed hundreds of millions of dollars in manufacturing and the project deployment, they were able to very predictably model the exact performance of this energy generation system. Here's a fun one, prescriptive twin. In this particular case, they're using the digital twin and a skip loader to basically provide instruction for the physical skip loader and what it should do relative to safety margins when it's driving autonomously to keep it away from knocking workers into bunkers and things like that. Finally, the autonomous twin. Now, I don't actually know of any autonomous twin examples that have been implemented with commercial off-the-shelf software. I know Tesla has one in multiple factories around the world, but what autonomous twins basically are taking the digital twin or the virtual twin along with simulation, along with machine learning and real-time sensors to, in fact, drive autonomously operation of the physical asset. Now, in this particular case, we're actually partnered with Hyundai, who's building a dark factory in Singapore to enable, without workers, without a manufacturing line, simply robots and bays, to build via consumer configurations batches of one vehicle at a time, completely bespoke and connected to what we as consumers want to configure. It's a massive, massive leap, and it's all being done with real-time 3D technology that powers the metaverse. So I could go on for hours, or not. I could go on for a minute and 41 seconds. So what I'm going to leave you with are two ideas. Idea number one, there are massive investments that are happening today, not tomorrow. The metaverse isn't tomorrow. They're happening today in the industrial space where companies are taking this fundamental technology, building the metaverse one puzzle piece at a time, and driving business outcome, operational outcome, and competitive advantage. And there are many more examples, and you talk about inspiration delivered. I get inspired every day when I go work with this community to see what they're doing, to build a set of products, a rich set of products that connect to customer needs, to operate large-scale assets more efficiently, to better educate people than the traditional ways that we learned as young people and continuing to learn as adults, and to build a safer, more sustainable planet. It's remarkable what this technology is bringing to the world. Here's my final thought. How did I get more time? I got more time if you want me to tell some jokes. Here's the last thing that I'll leave with you. Again, inspiration delivered. The future's now. Again, it's going to be a great 2.5 days where we learn from each other. We see best practices. We see how technology is being developed, being deployed. But this future that we talk about is actually happening right now. And it's happening because each and every one of you are contributing to it. You're building that digital immersive experience that's going to bring great things to our world and the next generation of people that we'll leave behind. So thank you. I'm excited to be here. Enjoy your time in Miami, and talk soon.